we are today at Monadnock Berries with my co-host, Marcia Duffy. Marcia, it's really good to have you here today.
Great to be here.
Yeah. And our guests today are Fenella and Anthony. They have been around here for 15 or 20 years.
I think this is our 17th year
Wow.
at this farm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear somebody coming up the driveway. Do you hear a car?
Oh yeah, that might be that customer we have who commutes all the way from Chicago, believe it or not.
Chicago?
Yes.
Wow, you know, it's not just locals.
No, not just locals.
No?
She needs her berry fix, and she was local. She moved to Chicago, and so she commutes back to get her berries every year.
Wow.
Could be her. Who knows?
I hope she doesn't come in while we're shooting this. Anyway. So you have people that come from all over.
Yes, we do.
Wow. And
yes.
you have, what kinds of produce do you have here?
We have as many berries as we can think of that we can grow in this particular region. And we have some greenhouses that we have berries in, strawberries, blackberries, we have tomatoes.
Raspberries.
And raspberries.
To extend the season for to sell at the farm markets at the end of the season, and strawberries at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
But the main pick your own business is blueberries, raspberries, and currants and gooseberries.
Yep.
So tell us when the season starts. You think blueberries August and then that's it. But
Right.
that's not the way your farm operates.
No, for us we start with pruning. So we're going to start February, March, and we go out to this plantation here and all the other fields, and we start pruning. So we go to every single bush.
There's 10,000 bushes.
Yep.
Wow.
We go to each
Just go out in the
one
backyard. You have
help,
and we
I
prune.
hope.
Not too much, actually. It's usually just us.
We have
And what do you prune? Like any dead branches?
Yes, you take
or
out the
shaping, or
old
what do you do?
branches. You're
Yeah.
trying to make your bush have a little bit of a shock. The reason anybody prunes any kind of fruit, tree, bush, plant, is to make it have a shock so it thinks, I better reproduce. I may not be around too long. So you do that, and that's what your fruit is. It's the seeds.
So the pruning
So
for blueberries is in
it's
the spring?
essential. Yes, it's in the spring before the leaves come out, so they have to be dormant, or you can get disease. So
we remove about 20% of the wood
yep, every year.
so that it grows new wood and you get larger fruit.
Yeah,
Because I think people don't realize that actually by cutting it back, you're doing a good thing because
You
it's
are.
going to bring all that new growth.
yes, and that's where your berries are, or that's where your berries get bigger. I mean, you can leave
We
your
use loppers powered by compressed air with a small engine, and that takes some of the work out of it.
yeah.
I could imagine that must take you weeks.
We are
and
really
months.
buff by the time spring comes
Oh.
along. We're like,
I
oh.
bet. So then what
So-
happens after that? So that
Okay.
happens in February and March.
Yes.
And then by April,
By
what's
April,
happening?
we're sort of thinking of the garden center because we have to grow our own tomatoes for the greenhouse. And that kind of started that whole thing. So we go down there, and I have 4 members of staff who've been with me from the beginning down there, which is about 5 years now. And we do the flowers because we love that part as well. And we sell the blueberry bushes, the raspberry plants, the gooseberry plants, because we have
Fruit trees.
and fruit trees, really all that stuff plus flowers. We're able to sell the ribes, which are the red currants, black currants, and gooseberries, because we have a special permit from the state, which took several years to get.
Right. And why do you need the permit? Because I've heard a little bit about this.
That's a long story, and it doesn't really pertain to present day, but ages ago, like back World War II, they sent groups of people out into the woods to pull up any ribes they saw, which is the gooseberry, the red currant, the black currant.
1920s.
Yeah, it's around the 20s actually. Yeah, First and Second World War. And they pulled them all out because they thought, or they were at that time, host to white pine blister rust. New Hampshire is logging. It's really important. So all of those were eradicated. But what has happened now is all the new varieties that we have don't carry that.
Right.
But the state's a little far behind, public knowledge is such, so that it's easier to get a permit to sell the new varieties which don't have the virus than it is to start a whole new session and start from the beginning and test every plant. So we are allowed to grow them and we are allowed to sell them.
I'm really glad that you do use those or produce those because
Yeah.
I hadn't really heard of them around this area. And then I saw them at the farmer's market one time.
Yes.
And I picked them up. And the currants, I just couldn't, I wanted to eat the whole pint. It
Yeah.
was, it was
They have a
delicious.
flavor all their own.
Yeah, they do.
It's not a sweet berry. People expect it to be sweet.
It's a
So that's
tart kind of-
initial shock.
Yeah.
But if you do anything with it, like add it to jams or jellies or
Right.
cheesecake toppings or something, you get
Yeah.
an intense flavor. And that works well with the blueberry because the blueberry gets a little bit insipid when you kind of do anything with it, unless it's fresh.
And when is that ready to be picked?
Blueberries, we usually start the first week in July and go until the first hard killing frost.
And
So
which is
that's all the way through the
September?
summer. Once we've picked as late as October the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's the end of September.
Okay.
So that's every day.
We mulch them quite a bit under the bushes, round the bushes.
And what does that do?
It keeps the weeds down and it raises the organic matter. They like high organic matter. They like a low pH, and it is acid soil around here. And we use nitrogen as well. We fertilize them. And then if we get any diseases, we do spray.
Yeah, so
We use integrated pest management.
Right. And so, what does that entail? Because this is not your backyard. Even though this is in my backyard, this is not a backyard farm. This is a business,
Right.
and this is your livelihood. So, how do you take care of your plants?
Yeah, because we sell on quality. And we can't have moldy berries, and we can't have blueberry maggot.
Right. And so, how do you keep that
So
in check?
we have traps that catch the maggot fly in end of June, and when you reach a threshold of so many maggot flies on the trap, then we spray. And the same with fungicides. If we get a lot of wet weather, we use fungicides, but we tend to use mild pesticides. I mean, the fungicide is actually developed from mushrooms, so you can eat the fruit immediately. So we have that to do, and we have mowing, constant mowing. So grass grows
Right.
in the rows.
Yeah.
And then we have the problem of birds, and then we use electronic bird alarms, which have the sounds of hawks mainly in
And
it.
distress calls of various birds that we
distress
know,
calls, yes.
different types. So
And-
the birds hear the distress call, and then they hear the hawk saying lunch.
It-
So it kind of they get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the distress calls go off randomly, and it works for about 3 weeks, and then the real birds get used to them.
Yeah.
But it's better than nothing. Yeah, we don't net. Netting is good, but it's very expensive to net a field. So
I can't. Well, how many acres do you have here?
well, we have 14 acres.
So 14 acres of netting.
Yeah, it's
I
not
can't
really
imagine.
for
It's
us.
not
It's not
feasible.
practical.
No.
It's not.
No, it's not.
So
Maybe
it's just the birds and the insects. Do
Yes.
you have any other pests?
Not
at
really.
all?
We get a lot of deer that come through the plantation. Occasionally, you see
deer
baby
don't
deer.
seem to hurt blueberries.
No, they don't. No.
Turkeys will eat the berries.
Yes, we have porcupine that really like raspberry canes.
Yes.
And we have electric fencing, hopefully, to kind of minimize that damage. We've even had them get into the greenhouse that has raspberries in it. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. They come right in and
Yeah, we have to fence
Open the
it.
door.
yeah, open the door.
The squirrels and the chipmunks
Oh.
eat the strawberries in the greenhouses.
They do.
They're a pest.
Yep.
They
So
can
we've
just
got
get in
hungry
anywhere.
critters around
Yeah.
here.
Well, this is a
Yeah.
great restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's free.
And it's free. So,
So tell us how
So-
you got here.
How we got here? Well, I was born on a fruit farm in England, and I ran the family farm for about 26 years. And but I met Fenella in over in New Hampshire. She's a Hollis girl.
New Hampshire, the United States.
Yes.
Yeah, in Hollis.
Yep.
And we moved over here in '95
yes.
and looked for a place of our own, because the farm in England was a family farm. And my father died, and the others wanted to split the
farm.
farm up. They didn't want a farm.
No.
And I was the youngest.
And
so,
what kind of farm was it?
that was an It was actually black currants and apples.
Oh,
200,
okay.
but it was 225 acres. It was a big farm, but it was all for the process industry. We didn't do any
For
retail.
wholesale.
Yes, to factories. We didn't do any retailing at all.
No,
So it's very
we wanted
different.
to downsize, and we also
Yeah.
like the idea of being able to talk with our customers. And when we
Yeah.
first came, Keene Farmers Market was just going. It had a few people, and the whole farmers market movement hadn't yet happened. And we thought we really want to be able to talk to our customers about what we do every day and see them. And we said, what better than do pick your own? So we put the signs out and said, come on by, and they did.
Not all
Oh.
farmers like people coming on their land.
Yeah, we
So
love that.
Tell us about that. and-
We love it because we've had people now who come and they bring their little babies in a stroller, and the next thing is she's turning around saying, I'd like to come and get married at the farm. And so we see people, you know, their kids grow up every year and they bring new people, they have family reunions. It's really fun. It's great to see them and, you know, get them out. And
Many people have summer camps around here on lakes, and so we get a lot of people from Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York.
yeah, all around, yeah.
Probably, I always think about 40% of the customers aren't local. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So on an average day,
Yeah.
like your busiest day.
You see
Like
like
how- what-
five different
just
number
paint a
plates
picture
in
here of
the
what-
parking lot. You know,
What's that?
the 5 different state plates in the parking lot. You know, you do see a lot of
Yeah.
vacationers here.
So how busy? It must be
Yeah.
like herding cats. All
Yeah.
of the people. and-
There's lots of people. Not everyone wants to pick.
Yeah.
So some people hang out here on the deck, or little kids love the sandboxes. They picnic on the lawn, visit with the animals. We have enough fields so that we move a field every day. So we go out and check very first thing, sunrise. We're out looking to see the best picking, and we send people that way that day.
But we don't locate them to a particular row or bush. They're free to go where they like as long as they
like
remain.
as some of the apple orchards do.
Yeah, as long as they remain in that block. We do it block by block.
Because that's what's
Yeah.
The ripest at that
ripest
point.
that you want
Ripest.
to harvest.
Obviously, on weekends, we get the most customers.
And-
So on a Monday morning, we want to move the field so that there's lots of fresh, ripe
And then you'll
berries for
revisit
people.
that field about a week later.
Yes.
And it will have ripened up again.
okay.
So you do it in rotation,
Yeah.
rather like the irrigation. I should mention that this farm is also irrigated. So we do that in rotation in a dry time.
That's a lot of work as well.
Yeah.
Now you have fields way up there.
Yeah.
Now do you take elderly or people
We have
who
golf
are
carts.
disabled?
Yep. We have a picking patch right here, which is called the mystery patch. And we save that specifically for people who are unable to walk too far or are in wheelchairs. We do have groups and we can get them right in there. And it's a great thing to do if you're in a wheelchair because you're sitting and you get the best view of all the berries. So you can fill your pail without too much energy.
And why is it called a mystery?
Well, when this field was planted, every 2 rows are a different variety. We have 6 different varieties in this field. And when they got to this spot, they had a lot left over. So they just shoved them all in.
You never know what you get.
So you don't know what you're
get.
picking. We can generally tell, but there's all different ones mixed up in there.
And the
so we call it the
varieties,
mystery patch.
we have about 10 varieties, and
Yeah.
they come at slightly different times. They mature a few days, you know, so we kick off about July the 8th with early blue, and we would finish the end of, September, actually, with Elliot. But we close for pick your own, usually September the 10th. Actually, last year it was Labor Day because it wasn't such a heavy crop. But this year the crop's heavier.
It does look.
How can
Yeah.
you tell?
Well,
They're already
there's a
on.
lot
they're
already on
in
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and the blossom was heavy.
The blossom was heavy.
Yes. Now, do you think that was because we had a gentle winter, that it didn't hurt the berries quite so much, or the?
I think last year we had such difficult weather that the plants closed down. They didn't grow very much, and we didn't have very many berries. So that's also a way of Mother Nature pruning them. So then this year they're stimulated into
Yeah.
more berries
Yeah.
and more growth. And
We
you
actually
can-
had a
you can
drought
see.
in the summer 2010,
Yes.
and blueberries hate drought. We ran out of irrigation water in the brook. It was so dry.
Yes. Yes.
That affects your crop in 11. They didn't blossom so heavily, and because they didn't blossom heavily in 11, we've got a huge blossom in 12.
Yeah.
So, and things go in stages too. I mean, like one year you'll have really great blueberries, and then the next you will have a few less. Now, if you had any suggestions for the home gardener, what would you say for their blueberries? I mean, because they probably have
Okay.
2 or 3, maybe
Yes.
half a dozen plants in their yard. Water.
Yes, there's
Water.
really 3 main things. It's
Sun.
very hard to overwater a blueberry plant. They really
You
do.
can't.
Their natural habitat is at the top of a mountain, sandy soil, pretty acidic, lots of rain or mist or cloud, and then sunshine. So that's the best mix.
Does it help to
So-
have a really nice view?
Yeah,
Does it
I think the berries like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there are certain things that home viewers can do now. Does it help to put the netting over? Do you think? I mean, for the home.
Yes, you
person?
can do, because
Yeah.
I think if you've just got a few bushes,
Yeah.
you're going to get hit pretty heavily by birds and notice
You
that.
can make a frame out of white plastic plumbing pipe.
I think the frames work the best,
Yeah.
because then you can get in there easily and do your harvesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
But otherwise, they can come up here
Yes.
and they can pick their own. Now, how do you get all of these blueberries picked? Because, I mean, there's a lot
Well,
of people that come up and
people
pick
ask
them.
that.
Well,
a
we
lot.
have
Yeah.
a gang, usually about 15 people, that pick part-time for us, and we pay them by the pound, piecework.
But they're not in the public fields. They have a field of their own.
Yep.
So as far as the public fields, people ask us that question all the time. Sometimes we don't even know how it happens. But we get people and they come up and they come every week and they just want more and more and they
Yeah.
keep picking.
Oh,
and
they'll
then all
pick
of a
it out.
sudden we're done. Yeah.
They will pick it out.
Yeah.
And so, what makes your blueberries better than anybody else's?
Mount Monadnock. and of course our farming expertise.
And but you have pretty high standards too, I understand.
Yes. Yeah,
So
we're
what do
pretty
you
fussy.
do to make sure that your berries,
Well,
when
We-
they go to farmers markets or
We
when
grade
when
them.
people-
Yeah,
we
so-
grade them on an electric belt. They're all tipped out and
they're all
inspected.
inspected, and the customers can watch us do that. We have that in the same area
And you
as
do that
the
like once
retail.
a week?
We do it every day.
Every day.
All day long.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Morning
pick
till
every
night.
day.
Yep.
We
every
do
day.
10 farmers markets a week in July and August, and about 4 a week at this time
So
of
how do you get
yeah.
all of this done? I mean, that's a lot of work.
That is a
Farmers
lot of work,
markets,
yeah.
Well, we
keeping
have
everything.
we have 2 box vans, and we have
We have great staff because they
we
just
have
work
great staff,
tirelessly.
Yeah.
part-time
Yep,
staff.
A lot of locals,
Yeah.
and they
And,
spend their
uh,
summers helping us.
You know, we do Keene and Peterborough, but we also do markets down in Massachusetts.
Because you have another location in
We do,
West
yes.
something?
In Westford.
Westford. Mass.
Mass. We have 20-acre orchard there.
And what grows there?
Well, we do, it's a great area for peach growing. So we do peaches, nectarines, and plums, and apricots. And then we go on to apples and pears and Asian pears. So we've got the full range. The only thing we don't do is cherries, I guess. But it means that we can do the farmers markets if you have the full range. And then we go to small, fairly wealthy towns around 495, like Acton, Westford, Chelmsford, Groton, those markets.
Yeah.
And so everything we grow down there, we retail. We don't wholesale anything. We do wholesale some blueberries.
Why?
Yeah,
I just happen to have a few extras.
and we sell to other farm stands
Mostly.
mostly.
But we do sell to Whole Foods in the later part of the season.
In Hadley.
Because we
Yes.
have the Elliots, which
Yes.
go on late, and they're all done with
Yeah.
blueberries down there at that point. So I
Yeah.
put them in the Mini and drive them
The
down.
Connecticut
Excellent.
Valley runs out of blueberries because they're earlier than
Right.
us.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
sell them late
It's
blueberries.
amazing
Yes.
what just a little bit of an elevation
is.
difference
Yeah.
makes.
Yes.
So what do you do in the winter?
Well, we go.
We take a break.
No way!
Now we do. When the kids were little, we didn't.
We didn't
and,
when the kids were little, but,
But now
they've
they're
left
grown up.
home.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
take a break and go and walk on the beach with some sand and have
Nice.
a tourist experience ourselves.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So you just
With no
need-
urge to pick berries
No.
or anything.
But you do
No.
need to be around sand. That's what it was.
Yes.
We have
Yes,
sandy soil. in
sand.
here.
Right,
Go down
right,
to the
right.
sand.
There's a
That's
connection.
what
Sand
you're
in the
looking
sea.
for, yeah.
Yes.
Sun. Same kind
Yes.
of things. You need the same
Yeah.
things that the blueberries need.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you go out of the country or do you?
Sometimes we do. Yeah, it just depends on the crop, I guess, as to, where we decide to go and how we've done that season. So.
So you have a greenhouse, and I originally saw you at your store, your retail store on Route 12.
Yes.
And I bought an apple tree there, and
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe there were different varieties of apples that you had picked and all kinds of things. You also you have weddings here as well.
Yes, we do.
And how does somebody get involved with something like that?
They just either come up or they already know the farm
Mm-hmm.
and have thought about their weddings here.
See
or
it on the website.
Yep, they go
And it must
online.
be like a sentimental thing too. People who
Yes.
come here and pick berries.
Mostly that's what happens.
Yeah.
They say
Or
they come and they
family
say, "I would love to
reunions.
get married here," and we
Yeah.
said, "Okay,
I can help
we'll
you."
do that."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
We have a great site with a view, on the
Yeah.
lawn here,
Right.
and
Some people use a big tent, and other people use the whole facility. It's just
Yeah.
it depends what the couple
Yeah.
want.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
Right. So if they're interested in more information about your farm here, they can call you, but there's
Yep.
also a website that has a lot of
Yes.
information. So could you
Yep.
give us your website?
that's www.monadnockberries.com.
Okay.
Yeah, or they can just phone us.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that lady's been biting at the
Oh,
bit.
better go see who that is.
I think we should probably let her in, and she can come out into the fields and enjoy. So
Right.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being in
Yeah.
my backyard.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good
Yes,
seeing you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Marcia and I will see you again in my backyard, but today we've been at Monadnock Berries. If you are interested in information on how to get onto the show or want to contact us, you can email us at inmybackyardch8@gmail.com, and we'll try to get back to you. One of us, you never know who the co-host will be, but we'd love to hear from you. So thank you again, and
Thanks for coming.
we will look forward to coming up and doing some picking. I
Yes,
can't
come
wait.
and see
So
us. Sure.
Thanks, and we'll see you again in my backyard.